schools this morning. Why? Because there's been a trend, and it's not. I'm not hearing about this for the first time. Because I went to a very interesting school back in my time in Port Harcourt, and I also had friends who were going to very interesting schools, and we used to visit each other. All right. And back then, there used to be the concern about bullies, right? Children will be children. You have bullies, but there were also bullies who were not from, or who were not in the same school as you were. Some of them were quote unquote community boys. Some of them quote unquote were maybe vagrants or agberos, right? Who would actually prey on students, particularly secondary school students. All those GSS2 or GSS1 to SS2, SS3. And so it became a norm back in our time to always move in large groups of like maybe 6 or 7. But sometimes, even with that, you find a very bold or strong-willed agbero or tout or gang member come and frisk these boys. And this happens, interestingly, in Port Harcourt main town. When I mean main town, I'm talking about old Port Harcourt main town, all the way to Maiwan, because we used to go through there a lot, D-Line, and some other interesting places. Now, about 3 years ago, I visited one of the community secondary schools, not too far from Iwofe. What's the one? There's near where you have a police station, and then we caught. When I say we, I'm talking about myself and my colleagues, because we went there to visit, just we'll talk to the teachers there. Okay, what are some of the challenges? We even spoke to some of the students, and then we saw something that caught our attention. And then a teacher pulled us aside and said, "Please, you see this thing that's happening? The teachers are frustrated that when school closes, some boys, whether we don't know that they are community boys, but there are some men who are obviously in some sort of gang who wait outside for the students. One, they try to extort them. Two, some of them try to get them to be initiated into their gangs. But very often, we have found that some of these people use our students as drug mules. They sell drugs to children. They give drugs to children to help them sell when they get home. They give them drugs because more often than not, children would walk past police stations, police checkpoints and whatnot, and will not be checked. So this pokey stations conversation starter this morning is this: should vigilante services be engaged around secondary school premises in Port Harcourt? Why am I asking? Because on that very day, 3 years ago, when we observed this, we got to see a vigilante vehicle moving around that area, around Ikwe Road. And the teacher said, these boys, that's vigilante services, have caught some of these agberos, some of these boys bullying and also giving children drugs. But from the time school closes to an hour after, they're always moving around. So they feel a bit safer now. But there have been complaints and whatnot. But you cannot ignore that with the things happening across this country around schools, from obviously rape cases, physical and sexual assault on students, either from teachers or by students themselves, kidnappings and whatnot, negligence. You have to ask, is the quote-unquote security by these schools enough to protect modern-day Nigerian students? My name is Jude. Let's have a conversation, shall we?
The views and opinions shared on this program do not represent the position of Nigeria Info FM. Nigeria Info, let's talk.
Hello, Port Harcourt. With Jude on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
As always, please turn down the volume of your radio set. Refrain from making derogatory or defamatory comments and keep your comments civil. At Nigeria Info PH, at Nigeria Info PH is where you find us on Facebook and on X. At Nigeria Info PH, at Nigeria Info PH is where you find us on Facebook and on X. All right. Once again, the question I'm asking: should vigilante services be engaged around secondary school premises in Port Harcourt to protect lives of the young ones in this place? WhatsApp is 0809-030-6416, 0809-030-6416. Zion is on the line. Zion speaking to us from GRA. Zion, good morning to you, please.
Good morning to you, Mr. Duke.
Good morning.
Thank you for this discourse to awaken our consciousness and the reality of what is on ground. Yes, we need the vigilantes. Yes, we need the legionnaires. Yes, we need the YC man o' war. There should even be man o' war. But since we have relegated them to a point as if they no longer exist, let us bring the vigilantes who can do a thorough job. In fact, most of the movement of these small arms and drugs are being perpetuated by children. You see them hang the school bag, all these books that are there, no matter that are drugs there. Some of them are even be pistols or bullets.
Yeah, but Zion, the concern over the past few months and that I've been sitting on this is that these children are being bullied to do these things
because nobody is there to protect them. Now go to the school premises or the school gates now. You will see no security there, no vigilante. Even the legionnaires are sometimes we celebrate. No man, this is what the legionnaires should be doing. At least you have retired. Go back to your community and protect your community. My father did it after I retired from the military. All his man, all his friends, they will just sit at the school entrance. The gate, there's this security post there.
Yeah.
They will sit down there, separate themselves. Even then, there was no security threat. But as trained military men, they will tell you, criminals of the country from phone so then they come. So you have to prepare. That is what you define the word proactive. So what are the legionnaires doing?
Well,
come out and protect your community.
Don't they need to?
Me, I'm against.
Don't they need to get paid?
They get paid. That is why when they say we want state policing, I don't want to say that because state policing is politically motivated. The present federal police structure is the best.
Okay.
All we need to do to complement is the vigilante, or we bring the man over and the war against indiscipline. All these are bodies that were recognized here. Why do we sweep them away? We need them for security.
Okay, all right.
This is
Michael is in Port Harcourt. Michael, good morning to you, please.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Your question is, I think this should be.
Yeah, in secondary schools, some people have argued against it, but people are worried about, hey, what if they start to now bully the children themselves? But the students are literally exposed to dangers these days. The minute bell rings for close of the day.
Yes, your question is very simple. There should be there should be vigilantes, but not armed.
Not armed. Okay.
No, not armed, but they should be vigilantes. Particularly from the host community. Do you understand me?
Okay.
Because right now, not only at secondary school, it should be also placed at primary school. Jude, most of our public schools don't even have a security post anymore. And if they have, those posts have been provided to make shift shop in the first class. I'm telling you the truth. Yes, where they keep on two things. So, like growing up, there was a security post at my school. And though the security man was elderly, but with his cane, double cane, tied, when you see the portion of it. But these days, you will agree with me that most of the youth are cautious. So
we can't say most of you. Let's get on a break, right? Let's get on a break, please, and then when we get back, we'll probably hear from you later on, please. Hello, Port Harcourt returns. 12 up until 15 or 16, and the person is in secondary school. I know it doesn't have to be only the government secondary school. Sometimes even the private schools. You have to ask yourself the question, how safe do you think your son or your daughter is? Yes, you might not be in the throes of the kidnapping spree that has happened to our brothers and sisters in parts of the northwest and northeast, and yes, in some cases even in north central parts of Nigeria. You are still in a space where a lot has been happening around secondary schools and primary schools. Look at the news. For the past 4 years, there's almost no quarter that we haven't had a report of some abuse of some sort from a secondary school, whether it was in Lagos, in Port Harcourt, or anywhere in this country. That being said, what then is the role of the school? What then is the role of community in protecting these young ones when they are meant to be taking lectures or lessons? Last year, we had someone calling and say, hello, Nigeria Info, hello, people of God. Please, there's no security post in my community in the entire school premises or on the entire school premises that we have. I think it was about 2 or 3 of them. If you remember that conversation last year, I think that was somewhere in Eche. Nowhere. We need something. Nobody can tell where this school starts and where this school stops. It's just no fence, nothing. And you cannot, and it would be foolhardy of me. I think it's almost redundant if I was to tell you, this is why you should start to, protect school premises and have some form of security around the area. It's evident. Everybody knows. Everybody should know, right? But my question comes down to the seedy and underhanded attitude of some individuals in society. You see, of all the crimes that can become frowns against crime or crimes against the innocent, That would be children. So getting to hear that in this Port Harcourt, some agberus, some drug dealers, some people with probably no what's the best word? A modicum of decency would use children 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 as couriers for their drug business. Some of these people with no shame, and I mean no shame. How does a 30-something plus old man or somebody who's in his late 20s or mid 20s see a teenager, somebody wearing uniform, and now decide that of all the things he or she wants to do, well, usually it's he wants to obtain that boy's 100 naira, that boy's 200 naira. How far away they? Masiam. But are you all right? There's something I miss here. Back in my primary school, some boys were chased by the security men. They were caught. They were flogged. Back then, I didn't understand why. Today, I'm wondering.
The views and opinions shared on this program do not represent the position of Nigeria Info FM. Nigeria Info, let's talk.
Hello, Port Harcourt, with Jude on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
All right, so let's get to talk to Ibiso. Ibiso is on Odili Road. Ibiso, good morning to you, please.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, talking about your president. In those days, the Baptist High School will go and fight Stella Maris and take away their signboard and take it to Baptist High School. Different things happen. Now, I borrowed this close to Stella Maris. Baptist High School claim that Stella Maris girls is their girls. My Aboriginal girls is their girls. Different things are happening in those days. Nobody says anything about it. I think grow up to different gangsterism. So we have to know children to go and sell drugs. Dude, we have Silver is now at Abuna Road. That is as like an investment there. Sometimes these same people use the children to go there. They will go Ghana must go bad.
Wow.
Stealing food.
Steal food
under the gate there. You see that people are in dancing before you pack of food that is in your by side of your seat. You don't sit again. They will pack it and put it in that Ghana must argue to this food that how to go and do it, and they don't do that small thing. When you go to the house, you see different kind of things in fridge that are using to enjoy themselves. So this topic is very, very good. I believe with this discussion on ground, the orientation agency should take up this topic and go to the secondary schools to preach against it because it's getting to another level. Thank
you. I didn't expect to hear that one. They said them to steal food? Wow. They said crazy things are happening, didn't they? WhatsApp 009-030-6416 089-030-6416. That's why you find us on WhatsApp and on Telegram. Please do not call the last number I just reeled out, 0809-030-6416 0809-030-6416. All right, and then at Nigeria Info, PH at Nigeria Info. PH is where you find us on Facebook and on X at Nigeria Info. PH at Nigeria Info. PH. Now on Facebook, Chile Edwin says no need for any vigilante, but rather stiff disciplinary measures approved by the government that parents must sign into before their wards are admitted into schools, and not to militarize the school. But Chile, I think I understand where you are coming from, but I don't know if you fully grasp the scope of this conversation. Now, I'm not asking that the school regions, school areas, school premises should be militarized, but when you have cases where children are being bullied, not by their own students, not an SS2 boy bullying an SS1 boy or JSS2 boy. I'm talking about SS2, SS1, any class being bullied by young men and sometimes elderly men who are not students outside, just within the area of the school. So sometimes as they come out from the school gates and they are walking down maybe to a bus stop or some places their homes, that short trip, Chile, is where these students usually get into trouble. Their money's taken. Sometimes even when they're coming to school, from what I gather, sometimes when they're coming to school, right? Because obviously they're coming to school, some people will probably, who have decent parents, will probably have been giving maybe 300 naira or 500 naira, buy bonds or buy puff or whatever, okay? We even got to hear 3 years ago that some boys even reported that the meals that they would pack in their food flags were taken. How do you do that to children? How do you, and the fact that this was happening around Port Harcourt, around where you had the police station, right, was still the biggest surprise to the staff members. And that's why the staff members were worried. They were showing concern, because within the gates of the school, the teachers will have prerogative, they will probably have priority, and they probably have precedence over whatever happens in their school. They can tell the child or the children, kneel down, flog them, whatnot. Some disciplinary action, like you suggested, Chile. But when these boys and girls are now giving items to ferry to school, in some cases, in fact, some people have reported that some of the students are now even selling these illegal substances for these drug peddlers. Why? Because, like I said earlier on, children largely don't get stopped and searched by the police. I know if you go around thinking and feeling it is only in the public schools, you have a big thing coming, because even the private schools are not spared. They are not spared. Not everybody in the private school is going to have mommy and daddy come pick them at 2:30 or 3 p.m. every day. People go in buses. People walk together. I can't believe that we have gotten to a point in this country where children are now not very safe to walk from school, home, or vice versa. So the question still remains: should security services, in this case vigilante, Zion says, well, it's not just man of war should be there, Y brigade and all the other paramilitary groups should be around school areas, maybe making regular patrols. I don't know if that makes sense to you. I put myself in the shoes of a 13-14-year-old, and I ask myself this question: if one big man, by big man I'm not talking about rich now, if one bigger uncle comes and tells me, hey, what's in your pocket? I would shake in my boots. I would. Who was I going to report to? Anyway, back to the phone lines. 017-923-0002, 017-923-0003, 017-923-0002, 017-923-0003. At Nigeria Info PH, at Nigeria Info PH is where you find us on Facebook and on X at Nigeria Info PH. James here says, Joe, good morning. On this issue, I think some security measures need to be in place, but I don't know about placing vigilante because already in this state, we've had a bad history of vigilantes operating in several areas and communities. But I agree something has to be done. The children cannot be left to these individuals to prey upon. Muriel, it's not quicker. Muriel, good morning to you, please.
Thank you, Jay. Good morning.
Good morning.
I've always been saying that this place, you know, from small, catch them that the churches are trying to catch our youth, indoctrinating them, trying to make them follow the path of the right because of God. And that is send its agency is young. Just if you're in the system, anything that is teaching, especially if it's nature, you'll be used to this. What is happening in the government system? Some places will say, some people are saying, the students don't do that. Dude, what is happening now? People are getting, they are capable of anything. I don't think this is underestimate stage. Not for how to help them. When school closes, especially the schools that these are urban, not rural, not villages. Women from school and the you definitely see them. And for me, I think instead of putting a police and when they may likely even bring them give that back, they may still see whatever is going to and the way something happens that done that no. I think if there is a way to try to recruit the students, let's bring back manual into school.
Bring back manual into school. So you are towing the same line as Zion that manual should be around secondary schools.
No, they should train students.
Okay.
They should train the then that they should go every day. It cannot be every day, but they should train the boys, train the girls to learn how to defend themselves. The further to that, dude, there are some subjects we need to bring to June. You can get our Gen Z body there. Look, some of them, they think themselves, but they are so true, they don't know how to defend themselves. There are some stuff we should do that. This spiritual education that they are taking, that just really so interesting. I think there are some topics that you add into that scale. That topics, some topics to be added how people can defend themselves.
Okay.
Let the students themselves, the members, know how to defend themselves and
self-defense classes.
How many manuals do we have, and how many do we have those schools? Teach the students to manual themselves, let them know how to defend themselves. I think that's my own.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Self-defense classes. That's not a bad suggestion. Or do you have something else to support or to offer? Walter is speaking to us from Rukbak. Walter, good morning to you, please.
Good morning.
Good morning, please, Walter. Thank you for calling.
Yes, I will always say the security should be in the school. I remember in those days, 79, when I was in school, grammar school, precisely. Immediately, they introduced, as soon as they are walking in from the gate, the officers, they will shout. That's for their students.
They will search you.
Even the boarding houses.
Okay.
The military, they search even your cupboards. You have weapons. It's the way they will bull on you, you break your life. So what am I saying is that the military should be, if not police, introduced in all these schools.
But Walter, are you not worried that we are already overstretching the military with Boko Haram, with oil bunkering, with smuggling? We can't be putting the military everywhere every time.
the way things are, you need to see all. Most of them are not ready. It is in the school now they start to do this yahoo. If you don't know, ask. So they should introduce into the schools so that all these things will stop. Thank you, my brother.
All right, thank you very much, Walter. I don't know if you agree with that, but hey, let's like I said, it's a serious food for thought this morning. All right, WhatsApp now 08090306416 0306416. Ibiso says, Joe, good morning to you. Go to the streets of Port Harcourt. They use these boys as informants, and they also use them where they load motors. If the boys ask you to pay them, you refuse to pay them, then their senior men will descend on you. Wow. Says, I know you like going out, so go out and see things for yourself. Go out and give us the results. Thank you, Ibiso. Well, I did go out, that's why I found this. But yeah, I understand. Maybe we'll make more inquiries. Hi, Jude. I schooled in Lagos, and honestly, such never was in our schools back then. But now, it is a terrible thing happening here in Port Harcourt. This shows a bigger picture of what is going on in our country. No empathy, no conscience, no guilt, no remorse whatsoever. If not, tell me why any sane person can do all of these to children. Every form of the paramilitary should be engaged in all schools. Rita from Woji. Rita supporting that notion. Speaking of supporting, it makes me remember I beg to differ. No, Rita says, look, all the paramilitary should be involved around schools in the country. Okay. Greetings, Judah. I totally agree that something has to be done at these schools, particularly public schools. There's no control. When it's break time or even closing time, Jude, it's like a swarm of bees moving out aimlessly. Nobody's controlling the children. Nobody's supervising the children. Many of the teachers are sat down in their classrooms preparing notes. Who is watching over our children? That's the big question. Who is watching over the children? Who is? Who should be? Who should be? Once again, like I stated earlier on, if you are lucky enough or you've worked hard enough, let me use the word luck, because sometimes preparation will meet opportunities. If you have prepared well enough to have a driver, or maybe even you go pick your son and your daughter from school every day, what about those are your son or your daughter? What about those people who they are interacting with? Are they protected? Who are these individuals who see nothing wrong with giving child contraband items and say, oh yeah, take and go school, go sell? Sell to whom? Sell to whom exactly? And then when they're coming out of the gates, they're waylaid, their pockets are picked, sometimes even along the streets. Maybe that goes a long way to indict the people who see them, and you say nothing. You see an Agbero talking to boys, he's putting hand inside their pockets to remove 100 and you're okay with that? 017-923-0002, 017-923-0003. My 3, good morning. Hello, Port Harcourt.
Good morning, Jude.
Good morning, please.
Jude, see, the problem of I just in the program, my name is John.
Welcome, John.
See, the level of talk is becoming competent. And I think either the parents or the commissioner of education should have to do something as a matter of content now. Let me shock you. This is opposite color police station. Don't make it
Where?
Police station, my fault.
Okay.
There's a secondary school opposite that police station. Dude, go there during closing. I did a run through different programs, money, just go there. You
meet you and see the kind of animalistic behavior those guys let's put them. Remember my secondary school days. When school closed, they will tell you if you are going home, maintain the right. You don't go cross on the other side of the road unless you get to the point or your feet. You not just cross and enter your feet. You cannot be littering all over the road in the name of you are returning back from school. I need to close down secondary school. And it's not about the principal or the teacher. It's about the parents too. What parents telling their children before they leave for school? It's very important. It's someone that come out with you. Just about 6 or 7 hours in school, and you want the teacher to move your son to become a woman. So, parents owe the duty to take care of that children and keep them as parental opinion. The quantity in secondary school is very soon you hear it. The thing will float like a time.
Thank you very much, John. It is a call for concern, really. It really is. So yes, there's the aspect of external forces, making life uncomfortable for the children. There's also the home factor, the fact that some children are actually unruly. The teachers are having a difficult time trying to control these students. Large numbers playing, moving around. Sometimes I'll give you the one here. I use the one here as an example. The Paralink Road, after Mercyland Junction. There's a very big school there, and then they come out in their hundreds, and they're walking on both sides of the road. It's good that yes, the most of the cars are aware of these children. They haven't knocked them down, but like the last caller said, a lot of these children are unruly. Good morning, Jude. I believe that the schools should have these voluntary organizations, not just for security, but leadership training. Those of us that went through such engaged in trainings, camping, etc., we learned discipline, survival, emergency intervention, first aid, leadership, and many more. Okay. And that's not a bad suggestion, but how many of these schools? Well, then again, that's not your schools. They should be able to have this contact. It's funny how people are suggesting we draft security agents to secondary schools to help with discipline. But when you travel from Port Harcourt to Aba, the same security agents use teenagers to collect money from travelers. Sad development. Okay. Another twist to this conversation. They should recruit teams to be looking over River State students and search their bags every day. Every day. That's from Chooks. Every day. Fidelis Emelua, Elemua says, and this is on Facebook, please, at Nigeria Info, please, says, the truth is that the society is no longer what it used to be. In my own view, I believe teachers need to do more in our schools. But Fidelis, what exactly can the teacher do when the students are leaving school? Class is over, 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. as the case may be. The teacher's not going to carry a cane and make sure all of them walk in straight line to their houses. What exactly should be done then? Once again, your child may not be in a public school or in a private school that, is very well shielded from what a lot of people in society are experiencing, but it would be foolhardy of anyone to ignore that these things are happening. Good morning. what do teachers teach students and pupils during morning devotions? Secondly, what do parents teach their children at home? I think security should be deployed in our schools. I will also suggest that the schools should employ surveillance to checkmate the students' activities in schools as school resume and closes. Okay, fair enough. Well, we'll take a breather here, and then when we come back after the news, right, we'll talk about cars. My name is Jude. Hello, Port Harcourt returns.
Talk. Radio. 92.5 Radio.